Have you ever had that gut feeling, that little voice in the back of your head telling you something isn't right? That's exactly where my story begins. My name is Mark, and for a long time, I thought I had it all. A loving wife, Sarah, a beautiful home, and a life we built together over 10 years. We were that couple, the one everyone looked up to. We rarely argued, supported each other's dreams, and always made time for one another. Or so I thought. The change was subtle at first. So subtle I almost missed it. It started with her phone. Sarah, who used to leave her phone lying around without a care, suddenly had it glued to her hand. It was always face down on the table, and she'd quickly snatch it up if I came near. When I asked her about it, she'd just laugh it off, saying she was addicted to a new game or deep in a group chat with her friends. I wanted to believe her. I mean, this was Sarah, my Sarah, the woman I trusted with my entire world. Why would I doubt her? Then came the girls' nights. They started happening more and more frequently. Once a month turned into once a week. She'd come home late, smelling faintly of a perfume I didn't recognize, full of stories about new bars they'd discovered, or funny things that happened. I'd listen, smile, and tell her I was glad she was having fun. But deep down, that uneasy feeling was growing. I felt a distance between us, a small crack in the foundation of our marriage that I couldn't quite put my finger on. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I needed to trust her more. After all, a healthy relationship is built on trust, right? The breaking point, the moment my world started to tilt on its axis, was a Tuesday evening. Sarah told me she was going out with her best friend Chloe for a special dinner and a movie to celebrate Chloe's promotion. She got all dressed up, looking absolutely stunning. She gave me a quick kiss goodbye, her smile a little too bright, and said, "Don't wait up for me, honey. We've got a lot of celebrating to do." I watched her leave, and that familiar knot of anxiety tightened in my stomach. I tried to shake it off, telling myself I was being ridiculous. I decided to call Chloe's husband, Tom, just to chat, and maybe plan a guys' night of our own. We talked for a bit about work and sports, and then I casually mentioned, "So the girls are out celebrating Chloe's big promotion, huh? That's awesome." There was a pause on the other end of the line. A long, awkward silence. Then Tom said, "Promotion? Mark, what are you talking about?" "Chloe is right here next to me on the couch. We're watching a documentary about penguins." My heart stopped. Every beat thudded in my ears like a drum. The room started to spin. Chloe was at home? But Sarah had just left, dressed to the nines, to go out with Chloe. The lie was so blatant, so cold. The air was knocked out of my lungs. Why would she lie about something so specific? Where was she, really? The next few days were torture. I didn't confront her. I couldn't. What would I even say? "I know you lied, but I don't know where you were." I felt like a fool. I walked around our home, a place that once felt like a sanctuary, and everything seemed like a lie. Every photo of us smiling, every shared memory, felt tainted. I was living with a stranger. I replayed every late night, every vague explanation, every time she pulled her phone away. The puzzle pieces were scattered all over the floor, and I was terrified to put them together because I knew the final picture would shatter my heart. I was losing my mind, jumping at every notification on her phone, analyzing every word she said. I knew I couldn't go on like this. I needed proof. I needed something concrete before I blew up our lives based on a suspicion. The opportunity came in the form of our monthly credit card statement, which arrived in the mail. We usually looked at it together, but this time I opened it alone, my hands shaking. I scanned the list of charges, my eyes darting past the usual groceries, gas, and bills. And then I saw it. A charge from a place I didn't recognize. The Willow Creek Inn. It wasn't just a small charge for dinner. It was a charge for a room, a hotel room. And the date? It was the night she was supposedly out celebrating with Chloe. The Willow Creek Inn. It wasn't some fancy downtown hotel. It was a discreet, secluded place on the edge of town. The kind of place people go when they don't want to be found. The truth hit me like a physical blow. It wasn't a girls' night. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a planned, deliberate deception. She had booked a hotel room. My mind raced, filling in the horrible blanks. Who was she with? How long had this been going on? The woman I had promised to love and cherish, in sickness and in health, had been with someone else in a cheap hotel room while I was at home, worrying about her. The trust I had desperately tried to hold on to evaporated, replaced by a cold, hard certainty. That evening, when Sarah came home from work, I was waiting for her in the living room. The credit card bill was sitting on the coffee table between us. She walked in, smiling, and asked what I wanted for dinner. Her casualness was like a knife twisting in my gut. I didn't say anything. I just pointed to the bill. She looked down, and I watched the color drain from her face. The cheerful mask she wore every day finally slipped. She saw the charge for the Willow Creek Inn, and she knew. She knew that I knew. The silence in that room was deafening, filled with 10 years of love and laughter that now felt like a complete sham. The confession that followed was a painful, tear-filled blur. It wasn't a one-time mistake. It had been going on for 6 months with a coworker. 6 months of lies, secret meetings, and a double life. She cried. She apologized. She said it was the biggest mistake of her life and that it meant nothing. But her words were just noise. All I could see was the lie. The image of her getting dressed up, kissing me goodbye, and driving off to meet another man was burned into my brain. The foundation of our life together hadn't just cracked, it had crumbled into dust. A marriage without trust is just an empty house, and in that moment, I knew I could no longer live there. The path ahead was unclear and terrifying, but one thing was certain. The life I thought I had was over. My journey to rebuild, to heal, and to find myself again was just beginning. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It's not an easy one to tell, but sharing it is part of my healing process. If you've ever been through something similar or if this story resonated with you, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications. We'll be exploring more stories about life, love, and overcoming challenges together. See you in the next video.